Hi, this is Anna Imagination with the Healing Garden, and thank you for joining me for Shifting Perspectives. So I just had this massive, like, oh, I see what I'm doing now. I love understanding. So this is how I think. I finally figured out how I think because I noticed a pattern. I finally noticed and saw the pattern, and I was going, there I am. So this is it. Whenever I do one of these videos, I take a topic. So I live here. Let's call this center plane. And then I do a video and I zoom in to my perspective and I dissect and I pull it apart. I take apart the words, I break it down and I dissect the perspective. I analyze it, I locate the core. And then I get to a point where, okay, I've lost perspective because I've gone so deep in with a dissection that I've lost perspective. Now I have to gain perspective. So I shut the video down and I feel myself zoom back out. And I'm looking again at the big picture. And I'm going, okay, let's see what else I can. Now I have this information. Let's set that information over here. Now let's reassess. Let's look at the same situation again. This is how you do shadow work. This is it right here. You look at the perspective. You locate the specific trauma event. You zoom in. You assess, you dissect, you pull it apart. But you want to do it strategically with purpose and with knowing. You need to know what you're looking for, how to do this. You have to have it with purpose. If you don't, it's a mess. So you pull it apart, you identify what you're looking at, and then you pull out and you step back. When you step back, you restabilize. Now, with trauma, when you're dissecting, that's when you get triggered. Then you pull back out, you gain perspective. That's when you ground yourself and you're like, oh yeah, I'm not there anymore. I'm here. I'm in my apartment in Brooklyn. I don't need to be that up close and personal to the trauma. When you dissect a trauma, you are re-entering the trauma memory. When you pull back out, you're here, you're stable, you're fine. Now, for me, when I'm having a problem getting a hold of a topic where I want to zoom out even further, and this is where I get creative because I'm aware of the shifting of perspectives of the zoom from here all the way zooming in and then back out again. I know that there's another level beyond that where I can span out. Now, when you span out, that's when you're looking at your overall perspective. That's when you step into the 8th perspective. That's when you go back even further. Now, I'll sit here at the 10th perspective and I'll be like, okay, I'm at the 10th perspective. I'll zoom in, I'll look at the situation, I'll assess it. And I'm not figuring it out. And then I pull back and I'm back at the 10th perspective. And I'm looking around and I'm like, no, I need to go bigger. So then I smoke weed. I don't yet know why. But when I smoke weed, it expands my brain out even further. So my perspective goes from 10th perspective to omniscient point of view. So then I reach omniscient point of view, and that's when I can see the big picture and I can understand more of what's going on. And then I can come back down to the 10th and then zoom in and pull it apart and dissect it again. So I toggle video, I'm inside, and then I pull back out. And then I step back in and I dissect, and then I pull back out again. And then I grab the weed and I pull way out and I look at the overall to see, okay, what am I missing? Because when you miss things, that's when you crave and need and desire the bigger perspective to figure out what's going on. So once you understand that this is how perspectives work, that you're literally changing your point of view and your scope whenever you dissect and you look closer into a situation, it's absolutely helpful as far as shifting your own perspective at a different point of view so you can look at the same situation from a different perspective. But in order to do that, you need to be aware of all the different perspectives, how to shift and move, how to zoom in, dissect, and then pull back. This is it's perspective psychology. There's just no other words for it. It's perspective psychology at its finest. I'm trying to figure out how to articulate how I do it. What that is literally like the next on my agenda is to articulate how to do it. When I was writing my fantasy novels, well, all my novels, this is the skill that I was using, was zeroing in and then pulling back out and scoping again, and then vasting out and expanding it out. You also see it with Men in Black, the Men in Black movies, where you're at this massive point of view. And well, the whole movie, you're at the playing point of view, the materialistic point of view. And then you open up a door and you realize that the galaxy is hanging on the cat's neck. And then it zooms out and you find out that, or it zooms in. I can't remember if it zooms out or it zooms in. But that's when you see that the world is just, the earth is just part of a galaxy that's part of a ball that's being just a marble that some aliens are playing with, and that's how small we are. This is absolutely perspective psychology, us being able to zoom and move around and get that bigger picture. It's that Far Side cartoon that you saw when there's a jar on a shelf that says earth, and we're just inside the jar living our own existence, having no idea that we're just some botched science experiment on somebody's shelf in some world somewhere. That's all the way out. And then you could span out even further and get the next perspective and then zoom back in again. So on this level, same thing with Ant-Man. Oh, I love Ant-Man for this reason. Ant-Man, it's all about that perspective again, where your perspective of man, perspective of ant, perspective of the troglodytes, not the troglodytes, the water bears, the water bears. It's when you become the size of those water bears that live on our skin. And when you're that size, you're at that perspective, and then you zoom back out again. So this is all about literally shifting perspectives. This is how it's done. So I'm still trying to analyze the energy exchange between energy in the intake outtake of the energy with the podcast website, and I'm looking still at that stick person. See, this is my drawing. These are my gorgeous drawings, and I got my person here, and I'm like, so what's? I can't figure it out. So I'm at a point where I'm like, do I need to pull back, smoke some weed, and get a different perspective? And I know that's going to unlock it. It almost always does. It always unlocks it, because that's also when I manifest. Yeah, and that's where I meditate. So I'm debating on whether or not I want to just figure this out now, and I really want to figure it out now. I really hate leaving this and coming back to it later. But I also have my relationship, social, triadic healing that I want to do, and I'm also working on, yeah, I have like 4 projects going on right now. So I'm going to take a break. I also have to do my meditation this morning, but I'm going to take a break. I'm going to eat. I'm going to think about the universe and life and everything, and try and figure out this energy exchange. If you love shit like this, go ahead and like, subscribe, follow below, and help the garden grow. Donate at the link below. Thank you so much, and may the kindest of words always find you.